So on my last video, I showed you how I made a crossmember for my transmission mount, and there's a comment from one or two of you that perhaps I should have gusseted it a bit, kind of made it stronger. So I did. I also showed you that I put a crossmember in for my shocks, and I've since mounted the shocks. I'll show you that too, and then we'll go from there. So as you all know, when the engine runs, when it revs, it kind of twists like that from the torque. So in order to maintain a strong enough rear transmission mount, what I did was I added these gussets here and here on both sides just to make it stronger so it can take that torque. Didn't have that there before. Anyways, thanks for the guys who commented on that. So I've done that, which should make that stronger. I've also mounted my upper shock mounts. Got the shocks in. I need some nuts for the bottom there, and washers and things, but basically they're in. And I've got a good foot or more of travel. So these aren't fully extended. You know, if I let the shock go, it would come up a couple of inches above here, but I do still have, there's about 14 inches total travel in these shocks. So I got a good foot more. So even with the body on, going over bumps, I still have lots of room. I'm very tight up against the axle here, up against the brake lines, but I will be putting spacers in between the spring and the axle, which is going to bring the axle up, which should give me more clearance. And if it doesn't, it's no big deal. I'll just move my brake lines over a bit, then I'll have lots of room. So having done all this, I did notice one thing, or somebody pointed out one thing. It might be hard to see, but the angle is different on the two upper shock mounts. So this one's sort of kind of fairly level, whereas this one sticks up a wee bit. Probably, I'd have to measure it, probably 1/4 of an inch. So I'm saying that's not going to make any difference. 1/4 of an inch travel one side to the other, but please, if you know different, let me know in the comments. Well, just picked these up from KW Spring. My new U-bolts. Guy made them as I waited, and got a pretty good deal, I think. $47.82 for 4 of them. Really good price, considering anything else online that I could find similar to this was, you know, well over $100 for 4 of them. So yeah, good deal. Let's go put them on. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do it. Because the axle is on top of the spring in this car, I've got to raise this up so the weight comes off of the wheels and the weight is sitting on the springs. Then what I'll do is I will lower it back down, put the blocks in, so that when I lower it back down, there'll be a gap between the spring and the axle perch. I'll put in my spacers there, drop it back down, lift it back up, put it on my new, longer U-bolts. That's the plan anyways. It's gonna be simple. So in order to stop the wheels from moving back and forth before I take the U-bolts off, I've got the wheels chalked, both back wheels chalked so it doesn't move back and forward. And the pinion here, I've got that under block under that to keep that up, because when I take the U-bolts off, what will happen is the weight of the front of the pinion of the rear end is going to spin down. So we're ready to go. Well, that was a fun job, but I got them in. Like I said, I got these, I don't know if you can see that, nice and long. So my deep socket didn't go deep enough, so anyhow, they're in. I can cut those off unless I decide to get bigger lowering blocks. But this is, dropped it down 3.5 inches, almost 4 inches, which gets me really close to where I want it to be. So the next step is I'm going to weld something up here for my brake line. I've got this thing here, going to weld there. So I can put this here and then run my hard line up to it. And while I'm up on the hoist, I'm going to get the underside here where I put in those strengthening pieces of metal there. So I'll just tack those up real quick, or weld the other side of them, just to make sure it's nice and solid. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time.